we're dipping our toe in Chat or Gemini or Claude or whatever it is. I think it's like 70 to 80% of realtors are using AI, but 15 to 20% say that it's making a difference in their business. I argue that it's more important than it ever has been before. We are more equipped than ever using AI. It's just a matter of how you use it.
Marketing, like a symphony, is a harmonious blend of instruments. But without the proper direction, it's just noise. Welcome to the Supply Chain Marketing Show, presented by Supply Chain Brain Media. From the art of storytelling to the science of data, we'll uncover marketing strategies that drive success. AI is transforming marketing faster than any shift in decades. But here's the problem. Speed doesn't create trust. Speed is the benefit of having it. In this episode, Ralph Henderson sits down with Movement Mortgage Chief Marketing Officer Jake Fehling, a marketer who understands high-stakes decisions where trust isn't optional. Now here's your host, guide, and 100% human intelligence, Ralph Henderson.
Welcome to the Supply Chain Marketing Show, the show for marketers, revenue leaders, and growth builders working inside of one of the most complex, high-stakes industries in the world. Hi, I'm Ralph Henderson, your host. This show is brought to you by Supply Chain Brain Media. Here's the truth. Nobody buys supply chain technology casually. Every investment decision carries risk. Careers ride on it. Companies depend on it. Trust isn't a marketing tactic, it's a product. And right now, we're all asking the same question. As AI accelerates everything we do, how do we stay human enough for people to believe us? Today's conversation comes from an unexpected place. It's not logistics, it's not manufacturing, it's not procurement, but from someone solving the same exact trust problem in one of the most personal financial decisions people ever make: home buying. And oddly enough, it all started on an NFL sideline. Let's get into this. My guest today is Jake Fehling, Chief Marketing Officer at Movement Mortgage, one of the fastest growing mortgage companies in the country. Jake and I actually met as hype men for the Carolina Panthers NFL franchise. Proof that energy, storytelling, and human connection matter, whether you're in a stadium, a boardroom, or a buying committee. At Movement Mortgage, Jake leads marketing for an organization built by Super Bowl champion Casey Crawford, helping make people make what is often the biggest decision of their lives. Today, he's bringing that perspective to us with the powerful idea, the human edge of AI. Jake, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ralph. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you, man. It's always a bunch of fun to have my friends from the NFL days. How are things going?
Things are great. Yeah, I miss roaming the sidelines with you. We had a ton of fun. I mean, anytime you're hyping up the crowd, it was a good Sunday. We had some rough years there together. The record wasn't so great, and so we faced some headwinds. But if you're going to go into that environment, it's good to go in with people that have the same kind of energy as you. And I tell people all the time is like, maybe the result on the field wasn't what we wanted, but there were still all those diehards in the stands. And if you could cheer somebody up in section 211, or if you could hype somebody up in 117, like that, you would go home and you'd sleep okay. You know, you did your job.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Getting people excited for a winning team is it's fun and it can be challenging, but getting people excited for a team that's not doing well, yeah, that's when you find out what you're made of.
Right.
So listen, I'm excited about chatting about marketing as it relates to what you do in the home financing and obviously the home buying world, as well as the supply chain space. And you and I, in talking to one another, figured out one of the things we have in common is the people who do business with us have to trust us because these are personal and professional big decisions these people are making. And so one of the things I've loved about you is, how you make marketing something incredibly personal, especially with, somebody's home being on the line, while our marketers, they're in this complex supply chain solution industry. Let me ask you this. So what's the same about earning trust, in your opinion, in both worlds?
So I actually, when I talk about this, I like to tie the Panthers experience directly to the mortgage experience. And I teased it just a second ago in that open. You know, when we're down on the field, and I can pull you into this too, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pre-game, when the teams are on the field warming up, and we'll often call down the parachuters, we'll do what's called a pre-game hit. And it's like, all right, everybody, hi, welcome to Bank of America Stadium. It's week 7. It's the salute to service game. That is us on the field. Really, if we're just being honest, we're not talking to anyone. We're just looking at a flag. We're looking at, one of the skyscrapers. We're looking at some random section, and we're just reading a script, feeling the energy, and going. But it is those smaller moments that people don't see on the big screen that, like I said before, matter the most. And the tie to mortgage is the exact same. We put out a bunch of marketing that we say is like air cover marketing, where we're talking to everyone, the database. And so people send this out, and it's just light touch to stay in front of people. But where the magic happens are those one-off text, videos, technology solutions that people use to really dial in on the unique opportunity that a borrower could have, whether they're a first-time home buyer or somebody that's refinancing. That's where we get the most excited when we talk to loan officers about how they can dial that in for their respective audience.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And one of the things I liked about what you and I are talking about is AI, which is, ubiquitous in any industry you're in right now. But I liked how you talked about the human edge of AI. So let's dive into that. Where you see marketers sometimes overusing AI right now. So where should humans absolutely refuse to step out of this process?
Well, actually, now I'm going to get really obnoxious, Ralph. It's like a third parallel, the third parallel to this thing. So you get the Panthers thing, the mortgage thing, and then AI best practices in general. We're all using it now. And so there's stats I just looked recently where realtors, I think it's like 70 to 80% of realtors are using AI, but 15 to 20% say that it's making a difference in their business. So we're all using it for the same exact thing. And so I talk about 90-10. We're all using it to say, okay, cool. We're dipping our toe in Chat or Gemini or Claude or whatever it is. And we're saying, okay, can you write 3 social media post ideas for me this week? It's spitting out the same information for everyone. So if you've got the same information as 90% of the people, then what is the 10%, the human edge, the creativity that you can add to it? I'd argue that it's more important than it ever has been before. And so you've got to find that edge to make yourself look different, because we are officially in the sea of sameness out there as it relates to content.
No doubt about it, man. You've hit the nail on the head. Everything was new at some point, right? 15-second commercials and 30-second commercials, contrary to what all of us think, didn't exist forever. Okay. So they were new at one point, and I am sure they went through something similar where they all started looking exactly the same. And so it really was, how do I get out of this sameness? So that's really cool that you talk about that. And one of the things supply chain marketing professionals often discuss is being sought after because they are not the same. So really important for this audience to hear that.
We'll be back after this brief message.
In today's complex supply chain, marketing has never been more critical. But are you leveraging the full potential of your marketing efforts? Supply Chain Brain Media created 2 resources to help you discover what's new and what works. The Supply Chain Marketing Group series is designed to educate you on services and how to implement them into your marketing program. On the Supply Chain Marketing Show, hear firsthand how experts are implementing the elements from the 5 rings of supply chain marketing to drive results. Ready to elevate your marketing game? Schedule a 30-minute consult today. Email Morgan at supplychainbrainmedia.com. Supply Chain Brain Media, your guide to marketing success.
And now back to our show.
The other thing that I think is important is, and I think it relates to both of us, is supply chain marketers are often selling to like committees, like maybe yours is families, and these committees are making these career defining decisions. So how do we help buyers feel safe choosing us? How do we create that trust in humanizing it, to use your words?
Yeah, so I am not going to pretend to know as much about supply chain as you, Ralph. You're the GOAT. You know all this stuff. But when I hear the term committee, it's never been easier to do research than it is now. And so if you're going and sit in front of a company, sitting in front of a group of people, finding out individually what makes each of these people tick, and then yes, putting your special spin on it, I think that's the way you can attack things. People, we are more equipped than ever using AI. It's just a matter of how you use it. Because if you're out there as a salesperson doing B2B sales and you're doing the same exact thing, posting the same exact LinkedIn slop as everybody else, look, it's no longer just the M dash that calls it out. It's if your post goes line, short sentence, short sentence, short sentence, declarative 3 lines next to each other. We know how it's been written. And so just be careful of that. But when I hear committees and things like that, it's really easy now to do your homework and to find the little differentiating windows of opportunity.
Yeah. And I know people are often just overwhelmed and peppered with statistics, but Supply Chain Brain, the publishing arm of the company that produces this show, recently did some surveys and found out that almost 80% of people who purchase large supply chain solutions, and I'm sure it's similar in your world, do all of their decision making prior to ever talking to you for the first time.
So, we're finding the same thing. So
Right.
our loan officers are coming back to us saying, and they're reporting it back from realtors too, that borrowers have never been more educated by the time they get to the table. But then you hit the nail on the head at the beginning. It's still the biggest purchase they're ever going to make in their life. It's still the biggest investment that a company is going to make. And so even though you're more educated, and I always have to I don't know, I'm more maybe sensitive to it, but we're in the process right now of renovating our house. And so when I talk to the contractor, I'm like, all right, humor me. I did my research last night on chat. Could this be what's going on with the plumbing? And he's like, respectfully, I appreciate you making the effort, but you're completely wrong. I'm like, okay, all right, I did my homework. And so people are coming more equipped and more educated, but they still need that human touch and hand holding.
Well, and that's the crux of this get together you and I are having is, we want everyone in marketing, but specifically supply chain marketing people to know their jobs aren't going away. What is happening is just like when commercials were brand new, like I was talking about earlier, and the internet was new, newsflash, that's actually true. We became more sought after. And when I say we that knew what that particular technology was doing. So people who understood commercials became sought after. People who understood the internet became more sought after. And I dare say people who are getting into AI and diving into this and really learning it and helping whoever it is they're serving are also going to be more sought after. So I think that's something people need to think about quite a bit. So you touched on this, and I liked where your head was. So how do we avoid this being more efficient with AI, but not being less memorable and standing out more?
Well, it's funny. I'm thinking of how to answer this because I think being efficient allows you to be quicker, which makes you stand out more. So I think there's actually a way to hack the question you just asked. So I think, yes, if you're being efficient using AI, you're going to generate similar content than other people. Yes. So I don't want to like counter what I just said,
Right.
but responding first in a smart way. I mean, think about like Nextdoor, websites like that. Think about when I've got a plumbing issue, I go to the web and I search plumbing near me. And by the way, I'm talking a lot about plumbing issues. You think that's top of mind for
Well,
me?
you're renovating.
My house is in trouble here. No, but I shoot a message. Whoever has the most convenient way to send the message, I'm shooting it to three people. The first one that responds is usually who I use.
Right.
Stats around like people are more likely to use the first realtor that gets back to them if they're going into the process cold. And so from a content perspective, I think using AI can be a slippery slope, and you've got to add that human edge, the 10%, however you want to categorize it. But I don't think your listeners should sleep on the fact that being efficient is also a business development tool. It's a hack that allows you to respond quicker and smarter, which can drive more business.
I absolutely love that. All right. I'd be remiss if I didn't add this question. So, look, you're doing NFL hype, you're getting people excited about the game. So, what did that experience teach you about audience energy that marketers completely underestimate or maybe don't understand?
Yeah, I've really struggled. I'll just be honest. The first couple of years, I struggled with the whole like reading the room thing. And so in marketing, whether it's internal or external here at Movement, I have to be cognizant of the fact that rates stink. I have to be cognizant of the fact that people are trapped in a high twos rate. And you have to be aware of what's going on in the world around you. And so if Movement is putting out, you know, everything is like cheery, nothing serious, it's all lighthearted. Look, we like to have fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but at the end of the day, it's a huge investment and you have to read the room a little bit.
Yeah.
Exact same thing at the Panthers. And so while there is the very cut and dry thing, Ralph, where, I don't need to say that you know who's in our ears. If Mike and Thomas are listening, hi, Mike and Thomas. But the guys that are in our ears, they just stop talking to us and they cut us for 2 quarters because they're reading the room. They could see that we're down by 30. And so the first couple of years, I was like, oh, this would be a good spot. Let me go. Turn my mic on. Let me go. And I had to learn, like, you got to pick and choose sometimes. But just because you're not going live in the bowl is the term, but hot in the bowl, where the mic is live to everybody, or that I'm on the Jumbotron. I've said this now a couple times on this podcast with you, Ralph. It's like, it doesn't mean you can't stop hyping the people around you, because those little micro moments, often fueled by too much alcohol potentially, like that's when people need us the most. And I know you felt it. And when you light up a crowd in a tiny little section in a pocket, when we're getting beat pretty badly, not only does it make your day, you feel good as the entertainer, but you for sure have made their day. And I know that sounds super corny, but it matters.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, no doubt about it. What you're doing is admirable, and I agree with you. That's an experience that folks want to enjoy themselves regardless of the score. Obviously, they want their team to win, but they still want to enjoy themselves. So good for you, and I think the audience completely understands that. All right, so here's a question. Let's put your CMO hat on for a second. So you're advising the people who watch and listen to this show are the supply chain marketing professionals and those they report to, which are normally the ones responsible for revenue, business development, profitability for the company. So the very tip of the spear, but a very important tip of the spear. So if you were to be advising folks in those capacities, kind of what would you give them for doubling down on here's what you need to do or focus on or strategize, and then here's what you probably need to stop doing or maybe get away from? What would be kind of that pro and con for what you would give them for direction?
Yeah, I'm glad you came back to this because I was going to bring it up again at the end if we didn't, when you started talking about AI and you don't think jobs are going to go away. We're very bullish on AI here. Movement Mortgage, you referenced it, was founded by Casey Crawford. He was a NFL player, Super Bowl champion. He founded Movement in 2008. Ralph, what was happening in 2008?
Yeah, the housing market was not the best.
Mortgage was sinking the world, not just the United States. Mortgage was sinking the world. If you
Yes.
watch The Big Short and all these other, so he leaned in, and sort of classic entrepreneurial story. He zigged when everybody zagged, and we were, excuse me, very hands on. It was a scrappy bunch, not a lot of career mortgage people. It was people that were willing to look at things differently, to do things differently, try it, break it, and move quickly. Whereas big companies, big banks can't. Everybody moves extremely slowly. Well, over the years, movement grows like crazy. But then very quickly, as you get bigger, you look around, you go, man, all those little scrappy systems that we put into place, we're all grown up now. We should probably look at Salesforce. We should probably look at Workday. We should probably look at these big things. And so we grow up, and in doing so, the rest of the world sort of catches up to a lot of our unique ops processes, the way we do marketing differently. And so people are looking to us as like, wow, they really did some cool things, and they're starting to do things. And I know how this is going to sound, but that we were doing several years ago. Well, then how do we differentiate ourselves? We sit in rooms all the time and we talk. We're like, what's our next thing that's going to make us stand out? Because now, a lot of people, it's like table stakes, a lot of these things. That is AI. And so, Ralph, I am here to tell you, this is not a major headline because everybody's on it. Lean in. Don't over romanticize anything, because stuff is coming out so quickly that you're going to have to jump in. You're going to have to build. You're going to have to make mistakes, learn, and move quickly. These big companies, big banks, big institutions, they can't move that quickly. Things have to go through committees. Things have to go through approval processes. And like, whoa, what are you doing? Well, let's check with compliance. Now, obviously, we want to stay in bounds. We check with compliance on these things. But that early mentality that we had of move fast, break things, a very Facebook famous line, has served us extremely well in this new era. So we're an Outlook, we're a Microsoft shop. And so we've got Copilot, but we've all got the elevated Copilot license that integrates into our email and our files and Teams. We've all got enterprise Claude accounts. So we're big Anthropic users as well. And then obviously people that are on Google are able to use Gemini and some of these others. But to have Claude and to have Copilot, which obviously you can run on Claude and Chat as models, that's behind our single sign-on. And so we're able to put sensitive information from borrowers in there, financial information. It's all secure. We're learning a lot. We're failing a lot. But the point is we're keeping up. And so I'm now hiring, Ralph, 2 people who with 1 year, I'm asking for 1 to 3 years experience. And this term that people are using called apprentice. So it's a design apprentice and it's a communication apprentice. And I know this has been a very long answer, but this sort of gets tied to the supply chain thing because that's all about processes, procedures, workflows. We're asking those people to come in and blow up everything. I want everybody in my department to stop saying, well, this is how we've always done it. This is how design goes. And so I'm hiring now these people that know AI like crazy, but they may not know mortgage like crazy. They may not know design like crazy, but they know process and procedure. And so I'm hiring. I'm super bullish on this, like I know everybody is, but those are the type of people that I'm looking for.
That is a great answer, because what it does is it lets this audience know they should be excited about what's going on. They should be really looking forward to where this is headed and what's possible in the next few years. Jake, I can't thank you enough for doing this. It's been fantastic. What I love about this conversation is it reminds us it reminds us something supply chain marketers sometimes forget. And that is, and this is important, we're not selling software, platforms, financing, logistics, or even mortgages. What we're asking people to do is believe in us, believe in our solutions. We're asking leaders to make decisions that affect careers, companies, families, futures. So whether you're helping someone invest in a supply chain solution, refinance a home, improve healthcare outcomes, or transform financial services, trust is still the currency that closes every deal. AI, as Jake alluded to, is going to change how we work. And we, as professionals, will embrace that. It will speed things up. It will make us more efficient so we can get back to them quicker. It'll make us smarter. But hear this, it's our humanity, our empathy, clarity, authenticity, and courage that will make people confident enough and trust us enough to say yes. So let's keep building marketing that earns belief, creates confidence, and brings people together around decisions they can stand behind. And as always, may the next 12 months be your best year ever, built on trust.
To discover how you can blend your marketing instruments into a harmonious sound and rise above the noise, schedule a 30-minute consultative session. Email morgan@supplychainbrainmedia.com. Again, that email address is morgan@supplychainbrainmedia.com. If you have any questions or episode suggestions, you can send those to morgan@supplychainbrainmedia.com. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Supply Chain Marketing Show presented by Supply Chain Brain Media. This is an omni-channel production in conjunction with PWE Media.